duck. This is an orange. This is a duck. This is an orange. You probably say, dude, those are chisels. Well, they used to be chisels. That's what they used to be. But if we go with Agenda 21 Newspeak, if I feel like this is an orange and this is a duck, that's perfectly, I can't speak, perfectly, acceptable and okay. Meaning 2 plus 2 can make 5. And you're probably saying, what the hell is he talking about? Well, I think we're starting to finally see the Soviet subversion techniques of Agenda 21 starting to come full circle. We're starting to see it in society. And what you're seeing is basically how, words don't mean what they used to mean. Alex Jones puts it well on the war is peace. So whenever we say, well, we're going up over there for democracy and peace, usually a lot of people die. You know what I'm saying? So war is peace. Now 2 plus 2 can make 5. Well, 2 plus 2 makes 5 simply out of the fact that you can get something for nothing. You're entitled to this, that, the other thing. Now, for those of you who don't know what Agenda 21 is, it's basically, if you look at the big words, it sounds like a great, wonderful thing. And yes, most people are, especially me as a Canadian and a hunter and a trapper, I am environmentally conscious. You'll never hear hunters and trappers go, oh, geez, I wish our cities could get bigger. We don't want that. We want nice, clean air to breathe and all that stuff. But that's not what it's about. No. Like most government projects, it's not about the little people. It usually rarely ever is. It's usually about funding or control. That's usually what government's all about. Now that sounds a little bit, oh, this guy's just one of those, yeah. No, there is some government programs that, we Canadians, enjoy. And actually, like for example, the healthcare. Here in Canada, our healthcare is not bad comparison to a lot of the places in the world, but it's getting worse because of the austerity and stuff like that. So you're still paying the same amount, but you're getting, longer wait times at the hospitals and stuff like that. Now, the idea behind Agenda 21 is the United Nations Earth Summit of 1992 in Rio de Janeiro. They had this 1,200-page book, and I'd like to be able to get a hold of this book, just so I can show people physically, this is what it is, this is what's happening, this is why your taxes have doubled, in such a short amount of time here in my little community. Our little town I live in, of Eileen Kaywood, in a little town of Danforth Lake. People here, their property taxes have almost doubled from last year to this year. Now, there's a lot of other things factored into that, mismanagement and stuff like that, but a lot of this is coming from Ministry of Resources Canada, which there's over 40,000, apparently, if you go by Brian Lilly's report, Brian Lilly's he's a great reporter on stuff like that for Sun News. Now, some people might not like Sun News because it's right-wing, but put that aside. Just listen to Brian Lilly himself. The man's very sensible. And there's over something like 40,000 references to Agenda 21 in Canadian policies. So if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. So what is Agenda 21? It's supposed to be for sustainable development, which most people say, hey, that sounds pretty darn good, but they don't understand that sustainable development will come at the end of a bayonet. But they're doing it through the Soviet subversion style. What's Soviet subversion? Well, it's how you win a war without firing a shot. Is what you take a whole generation of people, okay, and basically what you do is you brainwash them from the time they're younger. Now, how you do this is you have to give rise to power of radicals. Now, environmentalists, there's a lot of radical. The moderate environmentalists, people that say, okay, well, we still need to be maintain business, but yet have a cleaner environment. And, these people are not the problem. And I'm probably in that category as of probably 80% of the population. You might have 10% that's hardcore against clean air and stuff like that, and then 10% that's like really radical, like in most cases. That's just a, kind of a guesstimation ballpark. I don't know the exact numbers. But when we're talking about sustainable development, what we're not talking about is you growing your own food and lowering your carbon footprint, Like using paper bags instead of plastic bags, instead of using paper bags, you use those carry bags. So that's sustainable development type ideas. Who could find fault in that? You have to understand what Agenda 21 is. They should have really made the book red. Why? Because it is basically the green version of communism. The Communist Manifesto. It's the exact same thing, but it's in green. Problem is if you tell people that it's communist, or you can't call people that are pro-communism communists anymore. You have to call them progressives now. That's the new speak. Okay. Because if you just called it what it was, people would, they'd be, they couldn't do it. So you need to brainwash people into demanding it. And how you do this, again, you give rise to radicals who preach their word, and these people, like Greenpeace and stuff like that, they don't realize, but they're probably pawns in this game, stuff like that, where, okay, we're just, we're for this, we're for this, we're for the environment, we're for the environment. People are like, yeah, that cause is good. So you look into it a little bit deeper and you find out it's mostly about funding. Now, however, it doesn't matter, because I'm picking on Greenpeace right now because that's kind of the type of people that they're going to try to subvert. Now, what they do is they give people that are into these kind of groups positions of power. Eventually, they end up as professors and stuff like that. So now you can indoctrinate a whole generation of kids growing up in a school system that is designed specifically, to brainwash them into demanding this kind of stuff. Now, here's where it gets bad. Yeah, if it isn't bad enough already. When they do this, these people that were radicals once before and were, supported and elevated, there's no use for them anymore. Mao Zedong, he set the blueprint for that. So did Pol Pot. He killed like 2 million academias, people that, knew stuff. Yeah, once you've done your brainwashing, subversion techniques, then after that we don't need you. And after those people are gone, then you have what's known as the normalization period. When you have normalization, mission accomplished, and the skies will then cloud over. So how can you do this in a North American society? Well, you need to use things like feminism, that type of movements, extremely left-wing movements. You got to nurture those things. And trust me, the feminism one is a good one because, especially in the States, because of the people are so well armed, you need to demasculate the men in such a way that they won't fight back. And you'll see it more in the cities than you will, in the countryside. Men are still men in the countryside. I'm not saying men in the city are not manly, but for the most part, they're extremely passive, don't believe in war, they don't understand that. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. It happens for, whatever reason it's going to happen, it happens. And so, and again, I've referred to violence as something that you need to control and need to understand that it's nor good nor bad. You just need to know when to deploy it. Therefore, you need to be able to take care of yourself. So if you've been brainwashed into, oh, no, don't do anything, well, you're going to be pretty easy to over bully whenever it does come push to shove. If they pull it off successfully, they can do this without, again, it's Hegelian dialect, problem, reaction, solution. You need to create a problem. In this case, we'll say environmentalism. And it is a problem because the true environmentalists get hijacked by these, Agenda 21 type people. Now, here's the big thing. In communism, it is a huge sin for personal possession of just about anything. Everything's supposed to be for the greater good. This is why communism works on paper, but not in real life. Everything should be just, a social benefit. It's just, here you go. Obama the other day, on top of his, you didn't build it, now it's, you can't do it without us. That's pretty much his exact words. Basically, you can't build these companies or businesses, or, you can't survive without us, is what his exact words. Classic communism. And the people that believe it, this is scary, because they're like, you're right, we do need the government, we need, So with Agenda 21, what happens? Well, you're going to lose all your land. How do you get people off the land? Well, you tax the crap out of them. So I can guarantee you next year there's going to be a lot of places going up for taxes around here and other places. Why? You cannot have people have resources. You have to control those resources. You got to it's like herding cattle into the city. So, and then the ones that can't, go from the country to the city that can't afford apartments, well, they're the ones living on the streets. And eventually they'll be rounded up and shot or something. They're left to die anyway. Now, brainwashing. Well, here's where I'm going to probably offend a few people, but if you don't see it for what it is, and it's not that I'm against anybody's personal rights or freedoms, in this, or perceived rights or freedoms, but because there is no such thing as rights and freedoms. There's what you earn and what you don't, and what people are willing to tolerate and what people are willing to be generous about. But here's the thing. In the school, they do have books now, and if you just research it, there's a white-haired lady. She's very outspoken against Agenda 21 because the mainstream media won't cover this. You don't get it, but anyway, there's booklets, how to for kids. Now we're going to use the most sensitive issue first. Things that you're seeing in California and other places in the States where now students have to take a transgender, gay, lesbian course, stuff like that. They have to take it. They have no choice in it. Doesn't matter if they're interested in taking that. They have to take that. That's more important that they take that than they take anything else. Well, what is this for? Well, this is quite simply offering gender as a concept rather than you're born a male or, never mind what you're born with, it's what you think you are. Well, this is to confuse people. It's more designed to confuse men than women. Why? Because if you get men that question their masculinity, again, if they identify themselves as women, well, they're probably less likely to fight back. It's very sneaky. Again, it hijacks the real whatever movement that was there. And the other thing it does is it creates discontentment. You're giving rise to those other radicals because they'll serve a purpose somewhere. Of course, people are going to be outspoken against that. So the other thing is basically 2 plus 2 can, equal 5 under those notions. It's newspeak, where there is no heterosexual or homosexual. It's just a concept. There's that, and then of course there's what they do with the students is here's what you're going to eat. Your parents can no longer give you a good lunch, so your parents are not allowed to send you to school with lunches. And if you're a parent and you're watching this and this sounds familiar to you, this is what Agenda 21 is. It's sneaky. It's meant to be implemented at a local level. So maybe you've sent your kid to school like a can of beans and maybe I got a lot of beans here, a whole bunch of beans. You send them to school with bean soup, and the kid loves beans and everything like that. Put some barbecue sauce on the beans and maybe a can of salmon or something. Okay, so this kid's well fed. Maybe a big huge can of Spam, and then so he's fed for the day. Okay, maybe you might have to give him some honey on a dessert or something like that. So anyway, he's well fed, but the school will not allow you to send the kid to school with lunch. Why? They're going to eat what they say. You have no choice. They're now your new parents. And we see this in Ontario an awful lot where co-parenting, teachers refer to them as co-parents. No, they're not. They're teachers. So anyway, I'm just going to pause it here. Hi and welcome. This is a duck. This is an orange. This is a duck. This is an orange. You're probably saying, dude, those are chisels. Well, they used to be chisels. That's what they used to be. But if we go with Agenda 21 newspeak, if I feel like this is an orange and this is a duck, that's perfectly, I can't speak, perfectly, acceptable and okay. Meaning 2 plus 2 can make 5. And you're probably saying, what the hell is he talking about? Well, I think we're starting to finally see the Soviet subversion techniques of Agenda 21 starting to come full circle. We're starting to see it in society. And what you're seeing is basically how, words don't mean what they used to mean. Alex Jones puts it well on the war is peace. So whenever we say, well, we're going up over there for democracy and peace, usually a lot of people die. You know what I'm saying? So war is peace. Now 2 plus 2 can make 5. Well, 2 plus 2 makes 5 simply out of the fact that you can get something for nothing. You're entitled to this, that, the other thing. Now, for those of you who don't know what Agenda 21 is, it's basically if you look at the big words, it sounds like a great, wonderful thing. And yes, most people are, especially me as a Canadian and a hunter and a trapper, I am environmentally conscious. You'll never hear hunters and trappers go, "Oh, geez, I wish our cities could get bigger." We don't want that. We want nice, clean air to breathe and all that stuff. But that's not what it's about. No, no, no. Like most government projects, it's not about